It's Zero RB Friday here, and it's a fun situation right now where we finally saw some football yesterday. Mid-football, rained out football, though it may be. Training camp news is afoot. Lots to talk about here. Of course, I am already in a draft room. Best Ball Mania 5, $1.5 million to first place in this one. And we'll be trying to compete today against our draft stalker in the 3-hole. Whenever I just don't go in a little bit earlier, I swear to God, I also can just sense, I feel a thickness in the air when this little fuck is going to be in a room. And he is in this room again. But we are picking not for a while here, not picking until the back half of the round. So we will see what we get in the 12-hole. Of course, preseason news, we always have to hit up top. And it starts with a lot of injury stuff. DeAndre Hopkins out 4 to 6 weeks. A knee injury believed to be an MCL sprain. So DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that I've been drafting a good amount of. Actually not sure where I am exposure-wise on him. Got to be above the field. Yeah, 13% DeAndre Hopkins. Expected to be ready week 1 or week 1-ish. I still be happy to buy the dip, but it does seem like DeAndre Hopkins, knowing how markets react, he's going to come down. Wish I had, just 8% or less of him so you can pick up that value, but I would scoop the value if you can. Even though older players starting the year with a knee injury, never a good thing that you want to see. Not an injury news item. Broken up here, the injury items on my news list. Lions OC Ben Johnson on Jameson Williams. His route tree's kind of grown. It's developed, and in his mind, there's nothing he can't do is the exact quote. I think another signal here, I think I'm trying to keep up with themes here that we're getting from certain teams as I'm writing my updates every day to bring here on stream. And of course, in the document that you get if you're a paying member of the channel for $4.99 down below. But Ben Johnson, again, another cosign on Jameson Williams. We keep hearing the reporters giving cosigns for Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams himself, his teammates. So we're getting a lot of signal there. I've been a believer. Think he should be going to the mid-70s. We'll see if he comes up there. But he's in a good spot. Honestly, where he was going last year, it's surprising he hasn't gotten steamed up more. Justin Herbert, torn plantar fascia, which is an injury I know intimately. I did that playing MMA. When I was training in MMA, I planted my foot, stepped weirdly, thought like the mat underneath me had snapped. And nope, it was in fact a tendon in my foot. For him, they say it's 2 weeks in a boot. Obviously the stiffness you get there when you are recovering tissue is a little bit tough. So that's the main thing I remember from it. Obviously, it was a quicker recovery than you would think, given how bad the injury is and how little you can move. By the way, no shot at the Puka Marvin Harrison combo. It goes at 10 today with Puka Nacua. Tough scene. I think it's okay taking a share at Garrett Wilson here. Want to get a little bit more here down the home stretch. Some good camp reports. He's yelling at Aaron Rodgers. I like that for him, even if he's not the most efficient player in the world. Go Garrett Wilson here as one pick. And I'm pretty confident I wouldn't have paired that with Marvin Harrison Jr. Though Drake London would also be fun with this. I feel like I haven't done a Falcon stack in a while. Could also maybe set up Jaden with that one. A rare time I'm going to pass up Marvin Harrison here, but I think the Garrett Wilson, Drake London start feels fun to me. I feel like people probably get it in the 11-hole, the 10-hole enough. Not unique in any way, but we'll take it. Check into the chat as well, my bad. Horned up for Zero RB Friday. Love to hear that by our guy, Best Ball Brian. So many injuries already. Can see I'm going to need daily updates. Grateful for Spags. Appreciate that very much. Trying to do my best to get these updates in hot and heavy. And again, today with the injury stuff, it sucks. There's a lot of injuries. And thankfully, I'll cut to one. Deonta Foreman, not paralyzed, which you had that on the stream yesterday. He could move his extremities. Now he's back. I think he's going to be released from the hospital today, if not already. So good news for him. Probably not going to play football for a while, though, would be the guess. We'll talk about that in a moment. So I need Justin Herbert, expect to be ready for week 1. Again, being a walking boot for 2 weeks. We'll see. Probably not great for the rapport with some of the receivers, but they've played enough, I think, already. The starters there have been established enough as well. Justin Herbert's probably just going to impede, I guess, some of the progress for guys like your precious lad McConkey's out there. The younger receivers maybe getting into shape more with the starting QB. Losing a little bit of that's not great, but probably doesn't matter too much. A.D. Mitchell, while expected to be in the mix, is making less plays than Alec Pierce at camp, according to The Athletic. He's probably going to come down a little bit in ADP. The bet's still relatively the same, but people want a guaranteed starter. You don't always get guaranteed starters. It's not really, I think, the part of the thing here. It's great when you get it, but it's not always something you're going to get heading into, August. So we'll see what happens come week 1, see what happens come week 8, week 17. We need him the most. But A.D. Mitchell's probably going to fall on ADP. Marshawn Lloyd filling in yesterday with Josh Jacobs on the sidelines for unclear reasons. Marshawn Lloyd broke a 50-yard run, which was one of the things a reporter covered. I've been retweeting some stuff lately from the interesting quotes, mostly for guys that I care about and have a passion for. And the guy was like, I normally don't talk about RB plays in practice because it's not the same thing. You're not making full contact. But Marshawn Lloyd broke this 50-yard play that would have been a real 50-yard play. That's the kind of thing I want to see for a guy in college who put up 200-yard days. Part of the reason I'm such a big fan of his, just so efficient. Did some wild things in college that if he gets steady work in the pros, I think he's going to get there. So good look for Marshawn Lloyd. Probably not going to make his ADP come up yet, but I think more reports like that, especially video, I think would help him come up a little bit more. Nobody trading for Cam Akers. Oh, is that what we're asking here? Cam? Yeah, no. That is not how that's going to work. No, good thought. But yeah, I'm sure they would love to trade him, given that they got him for free. But he's just probably a depth piece, especially because Mixon missed a large portion of camp. I don't think Mixon's actually been in full team reps so far. Geno Smith also out indefinitely getting knee/hip imaging. The Athletics said the injuries aren't serious. They also called him a camp standout. So probably going to be a Geno dip from it. I would buy in. Trust me, Sam Howell's no threat there. Again, the reports have been that we talked about the other day. He's been more in competition with PJ Walker for the backup job than he has been looking like competition for Geno Smith. So Howell's going to fill in. He's going to chuck up some go balls for the guys. And then hopefully Geno Smith will be back in time for week 1 would be the guess. Khalil Herbert played more snaps in the Hall of Fame game than Roschon Johnson. So might be a sign that he's a little bit behind Roschon. Might be a sign they want to see what they have before deciding what they're going to do there. Didn't matter much, though, but really just something to maybe keep an eye on there because people do love Khalil Herbert out there. Both are clearly behind the not playing DeAndre Swift. The starters, the guys not playing, were the most key guys, Swift amongst them. So if you are worried about Swift, being someone that loses carries, maybe it happens over the course of a year, but Swift is really in the spot we thought he'd be when he got that contract. Andre Yoshevich currently running Jamar Chase's routes, especially in the red zone. Meanwhile, Jermaine Burton hurt his foot in camp, was sidelined. That is bad signal again for Burton. More good stuff for Yoshevich. Yoshevich is not getting drafted for a large portion of this draft. If you are a Bengals believer, I would buy in. It seems like he's got contingent value for Chase, probably contingent value for Higgins. He had some last year. And then maybe he'll be playing out of the slot as well. So Yoshevich, I think, not a bad play. Somebody I wouldn't mind getting more of in the 18th round, maybe 17th, 16th, I guess is where we're going to be. Gerard Mayo defends Drake May after rough practices, basically said that he was on the third team as a rookie. It wasn't a great defense, I thought, but it was, they're defending their guy. Drake May, as I've said, should be a work in progress. Don't think he's going to be in line to be a week 1 starter. The more that we get down this road, he's got a lot of work to do. He was really inaccurate in camp. Like he was a 60% on target rate guy, which is one of the lowest out of everybody who got drafted. Penix was the lowest besides him at 65%. So that's an issue that's going to rear its ugly head in practice, and especially for a team that's not throwing a lot and requires some precision with maybe questionable offensive talent around him. I think you're going to see the inaccuracy stuff more. So that's been my thesis on him for a while. Take him in a 3Q build late, QB build late, like that's fine. But that's really the thing for him. Don't expect to play until week 14. Tony Yoshi in the big board. Look, I don't know that was functionally a good bet then, but it's looking like a better bet. You still have Charlie Jones there. Like, you still have guys in the mix. They are going to get Burton in the mix too. Like, it's not like he's guaranteed playing time. Still think any of these guys to hit, it's got to be a bet against Chase or Higgins. We're on the clock here. Josh Allen goes, so they'll prevent me from doing the Josh Allen, Garrett Wilson correlation. That is pretty tempting to me. This spot here, I am just getting straight up ADP. Nothing interesting back. Could be a day, but I would like to at least get Houston with that. I was going to say, it could be a day to take Travis Kelce, but I'll go Zay for one of the picks. Do think Zay is a fairly cozy pick overall, and I'll take the week 16 correlation for George Pickens here. Pickens having a nice camp, had a nice day yesterday. Is not one of the news items to talk about. Still think I have a lot of concerns about that Arthur Smith offense, but we're going 0 RB on 0 RB Friday, so we're going to make it work. We got Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens here at receiver. Our 4 wide receivers start at the 12 hole, and now we got a lot of time to finish out the news items. Denver beat reporters are saying that Bo Nix is playing well. Ben Albright, who doesn't seem to agree with anybody at Broncos camp about specifically things that matter to me. I guess Audric Estime, he agrees, but he doesn't agree on Troy Franklin's usage and I guess where he's playing. He doesn't agree on Bo Nix. He says Bo Nix isn't playing well, has only played well against the third team. I don't know. I tend to buy the more volume there, people saying that Nix is looking good, but it's just been a weird fucking thing. Following the Denver beat reporters has been an odd thing to keep track of on a day-to-day basis where they keep disagreeing over and over and over again. Okay, let's see. Deontay Foreman, talk about him a little bit. Carted off in practice and movement back in his extremities, released from the hospital. That's good news. One thing to note, though, because I was talking about yesterday, maybe they bring in somebody to replace Foreman. Maybe Kareem Hunt came back in the mix. Pierre Strong was running ahead of Foreman in a lot of the RB drills. So the assumption would be then that Pierre Strong was already ahead of Foreman on the depth chart. So if they're going to bring somebody in, it would be a pure depth piece as opposed to somebody like a Kareem Hunt that would theoretically knock Strong back down the depth chart. So I think that's worth noting if you are taking that late 18th round Cleveland RB, if you don't want to take Ford, which is still a good pick. We've talked about him enough. Nick Chubb, an okay pick if you get him in the 140s, not so much in the 120s. For if you don't take one of those guys, you can take Pierre Strong, I think is a valid enough bet who showed just enough last year, I think, for them to want to see more. Trey Sermon is as expected, I think, for months now here on this show, but I think a lot of people are catching up on that. Clear RB2 for Indianapolis thus far. Still some pass game work going to Tyler Goodson and of course, Evan Hull, the other guy there. But Evan Hull not competing for RB2 right now. It seems like it's Sermon's job. I still think that it's mostly going to be Jonathan Taylor getting more work this year, but Sermon as a pure handcuff play. If you want to make it 18th round, 20th round on DraftKings, you can make it. Cedric Tillman making some big plays, held on to the first team spot so far. Jerry Jeudy's close to coming back. The assumption based on minicamp is that Jeudy's going to move in the slot. Elijah Moore's going to be displaced mostly, and Tillman will stay outside as a wide receiver too when they are running one outside there. In addition to Amari Cooper, obviously. So I think Tillman is a nice guy to add on to Cleveland stacks late. Nice guy to have as a Miami bring back late. But overall, somebody that probably not going under your way to get, but he did flash to me as an outside receiver, and that's where they're using him. He looked good to me in college. I think had some moments last year. I think the efficiency can be there if he starts to get regular work. Also, David Njoku getting fed a lot in Browns practice. So somebody like me who has had concerns about Deshaun Watson's history of not feeding tight end that well, does seem like that's probably one where the team scheme is going to drive that more. And of course, Njoku being good himself and, really standing out last year. Nico Remigio, the KC receiver, may be battling. This is an exact quote from The Athletic. Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, Justin Ross, and Montrell Washington for the last roster spot. With Toney getting hurt, Sky Moore mostly sucking. Justin Ross looks okay, mostly playing with the second team. Montrell Washington is a special teams guy who you'd think they want in the mix to return stuff. It's a tough one to say. They like Nico a lot, but I would be shocked, I guess, to see Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore, and Justin Ross all cut. And this was just how they phrased it. Maybe it's a weird phrasing, but making it sound like all those guys competing for one job. Doris Fountain in the hunt for the Lions wide receiver 3 job. And actually, he is a name that I'm not sure if he's on Underdog. He is on Underdog. Doris Fountain, another guy I think you can mix in the 18th round. He's the lone big body guy. I guess Jameson Williams is pretty big, but Fountain is like a larger guy, 6'2". He's in the mix to be the wide receiver 3. He's basically running with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams, most of those starter snaps. There's still some rotation in there. Don Peoples-Jones is coming in. Khalif Raymond is going to work in as well. But Fountain is a guy you could add on to Detroit stacks, Niners bringbacks, and might be a little bit tough right now to make that bet in round 18. DraftKings, if he's on there around 20, I could see doing that. But I think that for Fountain, he's somebody to keep on your radar here as just being somebody that might get a lot of routes on a team that's going to score a lot of points this year, theoretically. Tyquan Thornton looks good in camp, supposedly for the 100th straight year is my exact note here. Juju Smith-Schuster looking slow in camp, lacking bursts, has had drops. Juju might be a cut candidate. Don't think anybody here is taking him. Tyquan, if you want to chase the ghost for one more year, you can. I think he's mostly going to be displaced by Jalen Polk, who plays the outside role that should theoretically be where Tyquan would go. The Athletic says you could make the case that Austin Hooper's outplayed Hunter Henry in camp. Make of that what you will. I think Hunter Henry's still fine enough play, but I think I've gotten a little too cozy with him. I know some of you guys are loading up on him in exposure. I would say just be a little mindful of the fact that it's a maybe low passing volume team that said outwardly. Jalen Polk said in an interview they want to run the ball. It's what they're saying in practices and camp and how the coaches are talking about it. Just something to watch out for. Hollywood Brown here feels fun. We got Pittsburgh KC, so we got double Pittsburgh correlation. I can live with that for one of the picks. Hollywood Brown, one of the top target earners in Chiefs camp so far, alongside the expected Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice. DeAndre Hopkins obviously going to fall for us, but we can actually get Kyle Pitts as well, get our elite tight end. This is fun. I think this is a very fun start, actually, given that we're not getting much in the way of big values. I guess Hollywood Brown, honestly, a 7-pick value. Okay. So the team so far, 0-0-5-1. We got Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Hollywood Brown, and Kyle Pitts. Now, the big issue here is that Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, I still think Russ is most likely to be the starter, but Fields in camp playing well enough, team rallying behind him a little bit. I have concerns there both ways, so I don't know if I want to stack that side up, but it would be most logical to stack up Pittsburgh because of the fact that I have Zay Flowers in week 16 as a bring back, and also I have Hollywood Brown now as a week 17 bring back. But that's one way to build your teams. If you can pull it off, obviously it would be better to have a QB that we trusted instead of the Pittsburgh situation. But that's the team so far. Kyle Pitts, happy to look at it. All right. Rest of the news items, close it out. Tariq Cohen retired, second one to come back, second player to come back with Rashad Penny and then retire. Really weird. But I guess for him, he was looking good in camp and just didn't want to play anymore. So he's another guy that's gone. And this one is the last news item I have on my sheet. Blake Watson practiced for the first time in Denver's camp. So that's somebody to watch out for. Him not being out there is part of why Samaje Perine, Javonte Williams, I mean, Javonte is unaffected for the most part, but Samaje Perine in particular, maybe still on the roster. Perine, though, has been working with the first team, so I don't really know how this is going to work out. If I had to guess, Blake Watson more likely to be practice squad, and I'm not sure they make a move with Perine personally. But anyway, we'll see what happens there. But either way, Watson being back in camp, people thought he'd compete with Jaleel McLaughlin for the Joker role. Tyler Beatty is also still in that roster as well, a guy who can also do the same kind of small back stuff. So all those guys are in the hunt. Fields feels like the better guy to stack due to his ceiling. Yeah, but it's also still a decent chance of being a zero. So I don't really want to take zeros if I can avoid it. And that's really the main thing for me. Let's see. Shout out to guy Tyler being here. Always great to see him in a room, doing great content for himself as well across a litany of channels. But go follow him at Emo Cowboy on Twitter. Show him some love. He does always a good job on tweets. He's always on my For You page because I always hit the like button on him. Drumbeat on AJ Dillon over Marshawn Lynch is bumming me out. What drumbeat? He started ahead of him because Marshawn Lynch was hurt. Marshawn Lynch came back in and immediately was getting the first team work and making big plays. Like, what do you want? What do you want to happen? Dylan apparently looks a little bit better, I guess. So maybe there's a shot he has some role, but like he can't do what Marshawn Lloyd can do. Like he can't do anything close to what Marshawn Lloyd can do in the pass game. So ultimately, that's what you're going to rely on. And the fact that, people worried about some of the guys that I like Bucky Irving, how he's going to hold up in pass protection. There's got to be concerns about Marshawn Lloyd holding up in pass protection. He is a beast of a man. Good RAS on him as well. Good strength. We do it. Hey, I'm here for you, Tyler. I appreciate you. Appreciate all you guys being here. Of course, except for the guy in the 3-hole. But if you're watching live or after the fact, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. All your engagements go a long way here on Splash Play, as I'm a solo proprietor just trying to make it work in this crazy world of best ball drafts. But please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And leave a comment if you're watching after the fact as well. I reply to everything. Even lately, it's been a lot of comments, I have to admit, where it's like, I don't know, people who are playing best ball for the first time or whatever, and I have to explain stuff, and I'm like, I really that's not necessarily what I want to be. I try to be nice, but then sometimes they're shitty to me. And one guy yesterday said something to the effect of, "Oh, you took 4 receivers in the first 4 rounds. Is Underdog suddenly a 5 wide receiver league?" And I'm like, okay, so you're asking me a real question about why I'm doing this, but you're doing it in a dick way. So I replied a little snarkily, yeah, you want to get receivers, whatever the fuck I replied with. The usual bullshit, I would say. You want to have receivers early because they have the biggest upside. You can make running backs that have big upside later on, blah, blah, blah. But the guy just gave me a shitty remark and then gets mad at me for being saucy back. And it's I'm not here to tell you, go look at the Best Ball Manifesto. That's the stuff you should do. If you're watching these streams and you're just doing drafts and you're just vibing, just at least go read the Best Ball Manifesto. That's the one thing I would say to do. If you're gonna do anything besides watch my content, maybe some other great streamers out there like our pal Pete, the Spike Week guys, whatever else, Bindles, whoever else is streaming content, Tyler, of course, I talked about. A lot of, the Pound, lots of great people out there. Me sounding like Trump again. But just read one thing. Just read one thing before you go and start being snarky and stuff. That's all I would say. Getting data is important. There's enough data to make yourself have some awareness of the history of things. I think it's one issue, and this is again another boomer take. People just not knowing the history of the world and things. One of my least favorite parts of 2024. I feel I had to learn so much about history and shit growing up, and I also am a person who is interested in things and wants to learn more about stuff. But people have no fucking awareness of things that have happened with in their lifetime in front of their eyes. There are great people on both sides of best ball streaming. That's true. That would be the full Trumpy way of saying it. We got Jamison Williams here. Going at 82, still think it's a misprice. He should be in that. Honestly, you can make the case for me to go into 60s for him. He should at least be at the 70s. Jameson Williams is a very nice pick. 0051 here. Feels like a time to end an RB fast, but it also could be a time to get some oppo correlation. I guess technically this is fine. I'll take the RB first, so it feels like we broke it up a little. Which RB? Actually, one of the Pittsburgh RBs would work. Najee Jalen. Tough call. I'm going to go Najee. All right, so we broke our 0 RB run with Najee Harris. Now we're going right back to wide receiver with Curtis. Actually, you know what? This could be more fun. Arthur Smith's going to run the shit out of the ball, right? And we already have the bet on Pittsburgh. So let's just make a fun bet on Pittsburgh. Let's get ourselves 2 Pittsburgh RBs off the top here. Why not? Why not? I would love to get Curtis Samuel as well. There's other Buffalo correlation we could take later on. We could take a share of Tyrell Shavers in the 18th round if we wanted. Tyrell Shavers getting first team work with Buffalo. Why? I don't know, but he's getting it. Where do we think D-Hop settles? In this room, it's 87. If I had to guess this range here, 87 to 95 would be about right. There we go. Got a lot of JMO in the 90s on draft. This was full PPR. Wow, I keep forgetting that. Thank God you guys remind me. Appreciate it. But yeah, that's honestly Jameson Williams, and he was cheaper. Great. Still think he's too cheap for the situation. Like, you're talking wide receiver 2, who's incredibly fast, who's getting all this signal from the team, from the coaches, from everybody who's talking about it. And he's going in the 80s. Like, he should be going higher. He's now the guy that people wanted to be when they were drafted in the 50s last year. And people are like, no, we're not going to do that. Let's team up Rashee Rice more, they say. But let's leave Jameson Williams alone. Sure. Anyway, also got to shout out the Best Ball overlay tool. If you're seeing me on screen here, what I'm clicking around, having the exposures on screen has been a really big part for me. I was actually going through my exposures a little bit. We'll review them at the end of the stream as well. But looking at my numbers and seeing where I'm at with stuff, and I've really leveled things out in a way that I'm impressed by myself with so far. In terms of getting my exposures right, and part of that is having the Best Ball overlay tool on stream here. Of course, the week 16, week 17 correlation as well. You can see when I hover, I have these scores or the potential over-unders for DraftKings Sportsbook, the greediest sportsbook in the business. It's not going to tax people 20% if they win bets. But go check it out, bestballoverlay.com. Lots of great data. And of course, their data tools on their website that I'll show you guys at the end of the video as well. Do a great job. It's just, allowing you to see some different angles, your week 17 stacks, your mini stacks, all of that. So go check it out at Best Ball Overlay. That's their plug. PPR means players score a full point, a fantasy point. Wow, that's crazy. You learn something new every day. And here it's a half a point. So it's like you had that 1 point and you broke it in half to share with one of your friends. That's why Underdog is the platform of the people. It's all about the community, because they take their full point PPR and they say, no, here, you have half and I'll take half. It's like a Kit Kat. That's how they do it. Take Kings, the fucking greatest. It's honestly to the point, and look, my DraftKings bankroll, I have kept on there because that's where I play my DFS, whatever. I'm very close to moving to Caesars or BetMGM just because I think there's a little bit less juice. I'm sure at some point they'll screw me too. If you missed it, the news item of yesterday was basically so they're going to tax in certain states right now, the highest tax states, which they bid on, by the way. They bid for New York. They're willing to take an 80% tax rate just to get into the state. And now they're going to pass it back to consumers, basically. So in all these states like New York, Pennsylvania, Ohio might be one. There's definitely 3 or 4 more. They're all going to be taxed 20% on your winning bets. So not every sportsbook's going to do that. Some of them will just eat it. But DraftKings just keeps going, oh, there's cost of doing business too much. So they're just going to keep fucking you. And I've said before, they've made their 50-50 bets minus 115 here in Pennsylvania. It's not in every state, I guess. But they've done that for months now, where it's just taken 5% more vig on every bet already. They're going to put 20% on top of that. So 25% more cut than you would get on an offshore book. Fucking not good. It's not how you keep legal betting where it's supposed to be. It's really, really not a good thing for betting. So the only thing you could do is write to your state senators at probably.com. Go to probli.com. While you're there, go look at some great market data, top of market sportsbook data to help you make better bets. And if you place them on DraftKings, you're going to get juiced to death. That's what I'm seeing firsthand right now for myself. But check it out, probably.com. I care about sports betting, and that's one that's very gross. Underdog, to their credit, they might limit people now, which kind of sucks. But Underdog, to their credit, they're not juicing you to death. They're giving you parlays, which, people win. They're not juicing you to death. All right, picks coming up here. We got our Pittsburgh boys. We got some Atlanta stuff going on. The world's our oyster right now is what I say on Zero RB Friday here. Stream draft number 151 for me on the year. This guy's really thinking about it. Rambo show. Could you imagine a world in which Rambo hosted a talk show? It'd be a good time to launch an impression, but I was really not ready to follow that up with an impression. All right, we got picks coming up here. I'm gonna keep thinking about an impression though. Okay, we got Najee, Jalen, more RBs. Seems like our reason for being here. I get up Javonte a little bit. Again, I am team estimate till I die, but we will go Javonte a little bit because he's got enough camp reports. Sean Payton can't stop talking about how skinny he is now. He just loves that this guy his body's nice and tight. That's what he's looking for. We got a bet on Atlanta for in general. So we'll go Devin Singletary here for one pick. Of course, correlates here, as you can see on the screen for week 16, which is not top of mind for me. Giants Atlanta week 16. Not normally on the card for me, but it correlates. It makes sense. Team so far, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary. Wide receiver, we have Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, and a deeply discounted Hollywood Brown for no particular reason. He's back in practice and looking good. Kyle Pitts, a tight end. Happy with the team, as always is the case for me on stream. I got to stick the landing at QB. We're going to do it. Check out the chats here. They drew first blood. They drew first blood. That's not bad, right? Maybe if I yell it, it's better. But then it's not the talk show. You can't be yelling all the time on a talk show, unless it's Eric Andre. The best holiday is URB Day. That's right. That's the best holiday. Not Jackson holiday. It's this holiday right here. Drafting is such bullshit. They're going to make their own bed. We'll see. I mean, when you have so much market share, people are creatures of habit. I mean, that's honestly what's gotten me. Part of my reason of staying on drafting as well was just to be aligned with the customer experience and know, like, because I think the way people bet is like a lot of guys out there, you guys might know for yourself. They don't go to the sports book that has the best bet. They're just like, oh, I have money on DraftKings. I have money on FanDuel. I'll place a bet on those sports books. And in reality, like that's not what you should be doing. You should be placing bets at the specific sports book that has the best odds that are available to you. So that's something that, I don't do myself because I try to align with what people are doing, but it's the worst way to bet. And if you bet on DraftKings now, you're just going to get like legit screwed more than anybody has screwed anybody in the course of gambling history, which is a storied history of people getting screwed in a variety of ways. Spags we trust. Thank you. Actually, you know what? I'll flash this old one from my pal Jordan Klein here. That's what we do. And Spags we trust. That's what I should bring this back in, given that I'm wearing the money hat now on camera every day. My face is a little bit fatter here, even though I think I was leaner. Interesting how that works. I am a muscle man now. Jacked to the fucking gills. I don't know if you can see it. It's not going down like Bugs Bunny. Though Pete makes a fucking hard bar to crack. He's just sitting around on stream flexing like an Abercrombie model. What am I going to fucking do? Mr. $1 Spag. Hey, it's back. I'll bring it back. When I do something cool on stream, I'll flash it. Here. Honestly, is it time to victory lap some stuff? Because a lot of you guys have been very kind lately in the comments on the Discord as well. The Chase Brown and Jerome Ford takes shot of generational wealth coming up here, given these guys, A, apparently paralyzing their teammates. Sorry, bad joke, but he's fine now. B, the fact that like Chase Brown I've been talking about for a while, and he's coming up to the 100s. We're getting insane CLV on him. Now, granted, I'm losing CLV on Ben Sinnott out the ass. Losing a little bit of CLV on Marshawn Lloyd right now. Losing some on Bucky Irving, Troy Franklin. Oof. There's some CLV I've lost. I still like the bets. But man, gaining CLV. Chase Brown here went at 110, and that's like the lowest I've seen him in a room in a week. So, hey, I think some stuff's hidden. Sure, we're going to flash it. I mean, hey, I can flash it, I guess. It's going to get me more money, more views. More adoration. Jerome Ford's still at 126 in this room. They must have missed the entire thing I just said. Is Underdog a 5 RB league? I don't understand going straight. Thank you. Good callback. Good callback. It's all about the balance of the team. The yin and yang. And I hope that guy appreciated my tough love. I just want you guys to learn. I feel like I should have an AI auto reply if somebody gives me a dumb comment that's like, have you read the Basketball Manifesto? Like, that's the biggest co-sign I give to Mike Leone, who I think is one of the best minds in the space. Of course, Splash Play alum Mike Leone. But he's the guy that I think just laid it out perfectly, where if you want to do best ball, just read this one fucking thing and then hop in. And then it saves all of us like those questions. I'm not the one with the fantasy flock tournament here. I don't have these. I'm not the one supporting buffoonery. All right, we're on the clock here. Got the 0451 build. I guess we can just stack some Jets. Uh, yeah, I mean, I guess that would make sense, huh? Another RB would be fine. A little bit lower on Charbonnet. We do want to bring back for our Atlanta stack, right? So we got to take Jahan Dotson. Dotson having a nice camp. We'll go there. And I'm not going to, well, God, this is such a, I should be able to push Kirk Cousins. I don't know that I have the faith in this room allowing me to do that, but I should be able to. And I could use one more player here. This is a tough call. Does anybody make this team better than Kirk Cousins? I don't think so. We're not going to risk it. We got the Washington bring back. We're going to get Kirk Cousins. I'll make somebody out there happy who hates seeing me not close stacks out. Kirk Cousins, a 1-4-6-1 build here. We've got the double stack with Atlanta and Kirk. We got RB, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary. And then, so we got to make it up a little bit there. Wide receiver, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Hollywood Brown. Went away from it for 70 picks. We come back, we get Jahan Dotson as a bring back to Atlanta. And we have Kyle Pitts as our tight end. So one game stack done. Gonna have to figure out how to get the second game stack going. But there's options. There's options. That was a flock on Tua. I mean, look, he got paid, I guess. Look, Tua is a fine enough pick if you're going to take him in the 140s. If you have a Miami bet, if you have especially Tyreek and Waddle, if you have a Tyreek or Waddle bet, you get Tua 145, 150. Great. 120, I still have issues with that. I'd rather, again, go up 20 picks, get one of the Dak Prescott, Jaden Daniels, go up a little higher, get Kyler, Joe Burrow in that range. Jordan Love a little bit later. Caleb's still here too. We saw what Brett Rippon did in that offense yesterday. Like, that's the same offense Caleb Williams is going to get. It's going to be a lot better with it, with a lot better players around him. So I'd rather have those guys than Tua by a wide margin. Trevor Lawrence and Tua may be closer though. At least Trevor Lawrence runs sometimes. Takes some goal line equity away. Spags are so popular, not even a supermodel. If they started streaming best ball, could get more viewers than you. Thank you, Paul. It's not really attached to reality, but I appreciate the sentiment. Moss, Rico, Vidal, Brooks, and Esmer must-drafts. Vidal left camp hurt, and he's been stuck behind the true starters there for this entire camp so far. I am not seeing Kamani Vidal. I hope he gets cheaper because he got hurt. I would take him a little bit more if he were like in the 190s, but it's a Gus Dobbins team for right now. And I don't think Vidal's necessarily talented enough that you want to make that bet on him passing those guys up. But I like some of those guys. Uncle Ted, you can take him in every draft, I guess. Follow your heart. All right. Let's see, we're going to do these next picks. And of course, have to get the plug to Underdog. They have to pay for Bill Belichick somehow. Use promo code SPLASH on Underdog, $2 to $50 in bonus cash if you do use that promo code on there. If you're not, deposit Underdog. If you are deposit Underdog, go check out Drafters, drafters.com, promo code SPLASH on there. Gets you a $100 deposit match. I'll be streaming on Drafters tomorrow, another doubleheader. I think I actually might do a doubleheader tomorrow and Sunday because I'm doing 2 doubleheaders a week now for Drafters as part of the renegotiated deal I got from them. I held out in camp and I got more money. Go to drafters.com if you want to draft along with me tomorrow. Might be a slightly early start tomorrow. I'm probably going to start basically as soon as Luca and Alex go to the gym. Or Luca doesn't work out, but he goes to the gym daycare. And Alex works out. So that's probably going to be when I start my stream shortly thereafter. So come to that one. Drafters, Underdog. Drafters, Underdog. Rabbit season. Duck season. Rabbit season. Aaron Rodgers goes to this fuck. Had to correlate him with Breece Hall. All right. Really thought I'd get Aaron Rodgers for free late, given that I have Garrett Wilson, which is usually the skeleton key to getting Aaron Rodgers at whatever price tag you want. But nope, 151. Had to get your taste of old AR. Hawkinson goes 153. The injury watch for him. He's coming down, which is odd, given that literally nothing has changed for Hawkinson. Yeah, he's not playing like we thought the entire time. He's not going to play probably till like November. If he plays any earlier, great. 153 is an okay price tag for Hawkinson. Though Schultz went at 150 in this room, which is fucking batshit. I feel like this fucking guy, the draft stalker in the 3-hole, whenever he's in a room, the room is just a little bit worse. He's like one of the fucking Stranger Thing creatures. It's just seeping out from the earth that makes everything a little bit worse. We got 1461 here. Ugh, fucking demon. Got to add another QB now that we got scooped on the one that we were thinking about. Oh, God. Is this going to be a fucking Justin Fields team? I am in a dire strait here. I'll get Ray Davis for Oppo correlation with Garrett Wilson. Another RB to add to the squad here. We do have the Jets in week 16 for Matthew Stafford. I'm really weighing this out, guys. This is a tough one. Bo Nix is still an option as well. Matthew Stafford, though, a little bit of a discount. I'll do it. Not getting Aaron Rodgers really fucked me up here. I got to tell you. That was not what I expected. It wasn't a logical thing to have happen. And I was like, I'll get Aaron Rodgers and then I'll be done there. And I'll add Malachi Corley or fucking whatever on. And I'll have my nice clean stacks. Maybe Terrell Shavers in the 18th round. It'll be okay. We'll take Stafford instead here. So a statuesque Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford QB room. RB is Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary, and Ray Davis, who I'd say has a little bit of Jalen Warren to his game. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Hollywood Brown, and Jahan Dotson are a wide receiver room, and a tight end, Kyle Pitts. So we are going to set up Rams, Arizona somehow, while we do have Rams, Jets for week 16. Is I guess what we're going to do. Oof. Are you getting Kamala ads on the stream? Is that what? Are you all getting that? Can she just buy direct from me instead of going through YouTube? I'll happily do that. I'll scare away a lot of the people that we scared away about a couple months ago. But hey, I'll do some ad reads. She's like, I want not to get political here, but there's just one thing here. Just if you pay attention, she gets the same talking points, and her crew and her communications people, same talking points in everything. Like, she is media messaged harder than I feel like I've ever seen a candidate be media messaged, which is just interesting. Again, not going to say anymore because I don't need the people to get annoying. I'm just here observing things is all I'm saying. Is it Sam Howell season? No, it is not. No, it is not. Does look like Gino will be back pretty soon. That just feels rude. First of all, it'd be VP Kamala Harris. And second of all, rude. I guess it would be on brand. It would be on brand for us. Michael Wilson goes. Thought there was a faint shot we can get him back at 160, but we've got some other outs at receiver. Michael Wilson, though, his fiance is on the Olympic soccer team. I guess normally he would have tried to go to see her and asked out of camp to do it. This year he thought was too important for him and the team to go. So maybe a good sign for Michael Wilson. He and Zay Jones both in the mix. Zay Jones playing behind Michael Wilson, but still, he's there. Doing okay. America's Wine Mom. I mean, she's cramming every fucking pop culture reference in this stuff. Yeah, I'm just talking about the part that I think is the silliest, but it's like, she had fucking Quavo and and Megan Thee Stallion, and she's quoting, like, I'm just like, what are we doing here? It was like an AI of like the like teacher trying to be cool. It was a lot, but again, hey, I don't hate it. Okay. I'll let you guys go off there. I know. Thanks, Dylan. Yeah, it's great to see. I know Dylan's being sarcastic here, but it's just him wanting his fucking avatar on camera. Woof, woof, woof. I shouldn't have opened this up, chat. I apologize. Let's talk football. Let's get back on track here. Nobody's here to listen to me talk about my fun observations about life, being a dad. The sitcom that is my life. This guy takes Justin Fields too. What a fucking personal affront this guy is. This Janny Rad character. This Mike Williams, Aaron Rodgers, Justin Fields with what? What do you have with Justin Fields? Nothing. You got nothing, Pittsburgh. Ah, bastard. Demarcus Robinson goes. Thought there was a shot to get him. We are going to do some fucking weirdo Rams Arizona stacks. Let's close this one out. But we're going to do them. Oh, is he? Oh, he's good. I'm glad he's harassing Davis Maddock. I hope he, again, please go do all those streams. Go do all of them. That he really is just like addicted to seeing his name on stream. Like he thinks it makes him like one of our peers to be on stream. Like we invited him on as a guest host. And in reality, it's like you're just brute forcing your way into my life. All right, we're coming up here. We got 4 picks left. Matthew Stafford targets have evaporated from us. Roman Wilson still here for free, though coming downwardly. I'm going to sort by ADP because my ranks need an update this weekend. Well, we got the bet on Baltimore. I'm going to take Isaiah Likely as one of these picks here. Just to shore up the tight end room a little bit. Kamani Vidal. Big fall for him, actually. This is not a bad price tag for Kamani Vidal. We could use one more RB. We'll do that. I think I'm going to be digging deep for my correlation late for Matthew Stafford, but we're going to go with these other positions for now. It's a 2-6-6-2 build. I think we're done at RB. We got Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford as the QBs, unstacked Kirk. Very stacked Kirk, unstacked Stafford. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren got the full Pittsburgh backfield together. Javonte Williams getting a share here to somewhat defer all the Audric Estime that I'm getting. Devin Singletary, Ray Davis, Kamani Vidal at a 20-pick discount because he is hurt in camp. People are finally catching on that he's been on the second team this entire time. And also, he went to Troy and didn't play against real competition. But anyway, we'll take him at 180. Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Hollywood Brown, Jahan Dotson. So some stacking, some mini correlation here. We got Pittsburgh stuff going. We got bringbacks. We just don't have the Pittsburgh stack, but we have a lot correlated with Pittsburgh. And we have Kyle Pitts and Isaiah Likely here. And Isaiah Likely does, in fact, correlate with Pittsburgh in week 16. So, look, the team is layered with correlation. The Stafford part of it, I think ended up being the right choice in retrospect. It would have just been me reaching for somebody else and trying to tack on a stack. But a little bit weird for me to just have unstacked Matthew Stafford. I don't think that's the play for me. You have 0 Vidal. Fight me. There we go. Appreciate that. Oh, I'm not starting a Davis Matic beef. I think Davis's streams are fine. I just, I think mine are the best. But, I should believe that, and he should believe that, and everybody should believe that. The flock should believe that. We should all believe that. If you're doing content, you're either the best or you're trying to be the best, But thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it, guys. And you both give me money, and I appreciate that equally. I'm panhandling here. But no, Torrey Franklin at 190. Fucking Ben Albright. Is Ben Albright, like people accuse Sham Sharania and those guys of like, oh, they're trying to drive bets on FanDuel or whatever. Is Ben Albright trying to drive down price tags on Troy Franklin and Bo Nix? Is he trying to hurt my portfolio? Because that's what it feels like. He's the only one. Everybody else in Denver is like, Bo Nix crushing. Hey, Troy Franklin, great play. Troy Franklin beating guys on double moves. And Ben Albright's like, Troy Franklin, I don't know. He's playing like, did he lose a leg in Nam? That's basically the way fucking Ben Albright talks about it. Me and Ben Albright are feuding. He doesn't know it. He's going to know it. He's not going to know it. He's unfortunately very unlikely to know it. And please don't tag him and let him know it. Somebody out there's going to fucking send Ben Albright a clip and he's going to have me saying I'm feuding with him and I'm mad at him. I'm going to be like, no, it's not. It was just a bit. It was a bit on a stream. Please stop ratting me out to somewhat peers. One fun thing, which I don't know if you guys saw the hiring of Ben Solak from The Ringer going to ESPN. Kudos to him. Or ESPN seemingly just purging all the cool white guys from The Ringer that they seem to like. The Ben Solak moving on there. And I didn't know how many people in the fantasy space like are pals with Ben Solak. Like I'm not. I didn't never talk to the guy, but I was shocked to see that. So I guess a little bit of like a one of ours maybe kind of thing. Not really, but maybe. All right, we got 2 picks coming up here. Got an exposure review coming up. Got guys hoarding QBs. Like an episode of the titular show, Hoarders. Denver reporters go for the hottest takes possible. Maybe. But out of all markets, that's the one where people are disagreeing willy-nilly. Just surprises me a little bit. Darius Slayton quietly getting squeezed by the commitment to Jalen Hyatt, to Wan'Dale Robinson, to Malik Neighbors, obviously. Slayton, to me, I think should be coming down a little bit in picks. ESPN getting back at Simmons. Oh. All right. We got 2 picks here. We have a 2-6-6-2. We're going deep here, guys. We're getting a Jordan Whittington share. And we're going... Hey, all right. Dortch is still available. Greg Dortch. Our Rams-Arizona correlation tacked on late. One guy who's never drafted. We'll take the shot here. 2-6-8-2 build. Got Kirk Cousins, Matthew Stafford, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Javonte Williams, Devin Singletary, Ray Davis, Kamani Vidal. At our wide receiver, we have Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Hollywood Brown, Jahan Dotson, Jordan Whittington, a man people are saying is a Deebo Samuel, the Rams offense, and Greg Dortch. At a tight end, Kyle Pitts, Isaiah Likely. A little thin at tight end, I think, for that, but ran out of flexibility late. That's how that goes. And hey, guys, I'm already in a draft room. And I think the draft stalker didn't figure it out. So we're safe here. The draft number 2 here on Zero RB Friday. One where we are slightly less committed to going Zero RB, but I'm picking in the 6th spot. So I'm going Zero RB here. And if you enjoy this stream, guys, a lot of you guys watching, I do drafts Monday to Saturday at 11 a.m. So please do subscribe down below, hit the like button. All your engagements go a long way here because I'm just a solo proprietor trying to make it in a crowded best ball space. It gets more crowded by the day here in August. So please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment here. And if you can, join the channel down below, $4.99. You get all my rankings updated weekly with 275 plus player blurbs. And they're a lot better than Justin McMahon's, who's selling his for $30 a month, even though he autoed his best ball teams last year. Unfucking real. You get that. You get 10 team reviews a month from me, a VIP Discord, lots more here. So hit that join button, support the show. And I appreciate you for it if you do. And you get your name read aloud later on. And we got Justin Jefferson at pick 7. Well, okay. Why not? Why not? Let's have some fun. Jefferson pick 7. Let's steam down the guy who got the richest contract at receiver. The guy who's known as Jets. Let's steam him down. Why not? Rip Goat Bourdain. He's alive and he's in this draft room. And he believes that Amon-Ra St. Brown's a better pick than Justin Jefferson. Let's go. I'm going against Sacrilegious. Oh, I didn't see him in the 12 hole. Oh, yeah, there's Sacrilegious in the 12 hole. So no draft stalker. Is Sacrilegious my new draft stalker? No, he's probably just drafting a team if I had to guess. Oh, yeah, you're right. I am pick 6. It felt like 7, though, didn't it? What a discount at pick 6. Rewind, replace 7 with 6. If AI could help me out and replace what I just said and get it correct, I'm going to misspeak here. I'm talking alone for fucking hours on end. It's going to happen. Whatever. Oh, woo, yeah, big value. Justin Jefferson pick 6. When you think it's 7, it feels like a huge value. And Bobby here trying to get 2 more for BBM. I assume that's already filled. I love that Bobby does advertise his action, though, here in the chat. One of the worst places to advertise for action in a BBM, too, because these guys are sharp drafters. That's why I don't want to fucking draft with them. That's why I want to draft with idiots, ideally. And idiots and well-revered dead travelers / food critics. That's what I want to draft with. Bullock is here. Wow, a name from the past. Back when I knew Bullock, he was still a fresh-faced 17-year-old, and now he's 30. It's crazy how that works out. How time flies. Sacrilegious gets the start that I approve of. Marvin Harrison, Drake London. I've taken that at the 1-2 turn very frequently. So glad to see great minds think alike there. Book it with my agent. Just send me a DM. Not this weekend, but I can do it one of the weeks. You just have to let me know. You have to send me a proper invite in private, like a gentleman, and ask. But yes, sure. I'd love to. I'll be there with bells on. Probably not Sundays, though, because I don't know. I have to figure out when to do my Drafters doubleheaders. This one, though, I do think I'll be doing a doubleheader tomorrow on Drafters and then Sunday on Drafters. So full credit to Drafters, even though they have to wire me some money. But go to drafters.com and promo code SPLASH on there. Draft along me for one of the drafts tomorrow, at least. Puka and Debo trying to get the unique combo at pick 10 and 15. I guess. Are we in that time of year where people just go up and reach for everything? We might be. 100 DK drafts into there. We go. Lots of bonuses on there. Bullock's engaged now. Wow. Do you know she exists? Because she famously sent her ID to Pete to confirm. Great bit. Great bit. I think I did know that, actually. But, oh, no. Hey, Bullock. I guess I don't think Bullock's ever paid for this channel. So, Bullock, welcome to the family here. Bullock, a man who's grown up before our eyes. Now he's getting married. Wow. We love to see the growth here, but hopefully he's still gambling his winnings away, his life away. Welcome to the family here. And gamble responsibly, Bullock, as well. But join now. You're part of the Squirt Squad VIP Discord as long as you sync your Discord. I can talk to you again. Now we're allowed to be friends again. Welcome to the family, child. There we go. All right, we're on the clock here. We got Justin. Oh boy, yeah. So tough. This is tough for me as a content creator. I do love when I pick the players on the thumbnail. So Devontae Adams here, fine, but the combo of Justin Jefferson and Nico Collins setting up my favorite receiver in the league with a guy who's a part of my offense that I think is going to ascend this year. I can't not do it. Nico Collins at pick 19. Yes. Fucking Jalen Waddle at 18. I'd rather have Nico at 19. I know it's not a crazy difference, but I love Nico. Love Nico at this spot. Last year, I made the Stroud bet without Nico. Didn't think Nico was good. Nico proved me wrong. My priors have changed. Nico's now the greatest, besides Stephon Diggs, who's also the greatest. And Tank Dell, who's the greatest when I take him and don't get the other guys. Malik Neighbors at 20. Anthony Bourdain. Oh my gosh. Like some young. Is that why he was in Thailand all this time? Neighbors at 20, that was a little bit aggressive. I got Neighbors at 30 the other day. Like literally the other day. What, he had a couple plays in camp? That fucking changed it for you? He was making plays at LSU. Like the most insane plays. Don't go get Neighbors at 20. Jesus. Oh, you've been a member, had to roll back the expenses. Oh, all right. Fair enough, Bullock. I thought you were, but I was like, I didn't know if we maybe missed the timeline. All right, welcome back to the family, Bullock. It's been long enough. I'll give you a free Italian accent, Italian stereotype for you. Adams and Ayuk at the turn with CMC's got to feel pretty good. I don't think it's like unique, but it's unique-ish. Cusp unique. Ty Bussy for 14. Yeah, Bussy. Ty Kitchen and Bussy. Very progressive country. See what Anthony Bourdain does here. What's his appetite for here? Oh, and he's gonna get me through this next hour. He fucking takes Diggs. He really got a spoon out and digs in for that one. We got fucking Mike Evans here. Wanted the Houston double. Tank over Evans feels like a dumb flip. I'll take the discount. I've said Evans is worth a 30-ish pick. He's at pick 30 here. We'll get the slightly discounted Mike Evans. Honestly, a little bit unique, maybe. Jefferson, Nico, Evans, 2-pick discount on Nico, 5.5 on Evans. Unique for at least this point in time a little bit. So we'll do that. 0 RB start. I'm content with it. Nothing really lining up perfectly yet. We're doing okay. Tank falls sometimes. I feel like I've not seen Tank fall in a room, and this is the one where he does not fall. He goes 31. So, yikes. All right. There we go. Evans, all right, I did it. I did Evans. We're unique adjacent. Yeah, we're in the neighborhood next to unique. We're gentrifying right next to unique. We don't want to go too crazy and move into unique itself. We want to have the perks of some of the food, the bars in unique that are really cool and trendy. So we're outside unique. Super rare. You're saying super rare. Okay, so maybe we are in team unique. Evans does feel like he sets up Brooks as a perfect 0 RB. Yeah, I could deal with that. I don't know if that's a combo I get a lot of because I don't get a lot of Evans. Hi, all. Will you be doing drafts on Drafters? I'll be doing one tomorrow, Jerry. And if you haven't deposited on Drafters, which it sounds like you have, I'll be doing that tomorrow at 11 a.m. or 11 a.m.-ish. But go deposit on Drafters. Use promo code SPLASH. Is Jerry teeing me up for a plug? Is Jerry an AI bot that I've put out here just like a plug Drafters again? Maybe. But drafters, if you haven't played on there and deposited on there, great way to support the show. You get bonus cash for yourself. A lot of free entries coming up. They now have a bonus going where if you draft consecutively for like 10 days, 20 days, or 30 days, you get free entries. You also get a free entry at 10. Lots of free entries going away. So for you guys that like the DK little bonuses they give you there, drafters, I think, has the second best overall bonus entry accumulation process there. For the drafters million, of course, $15 entry, $500K to first place. So check it out, drafters.com. Derrick Henry at 37 is sacrilegious. Fucking somebody else gets in the draft room of note, and they get the values that I fucking never get at the turn. Come on. That feels nice to get Derrick Henry at 37. These fuckers have been steaming him up to the 20s this last month. Get him at 37. Unbelievable. All the boys in the chat. There we go. Glad to see the folks turning out here. Appreciate them all for it. Let's see what we get with our next picks. Feels like a lot of reachy going on here with Cooper and Pickens, but don't know it's going to open up real value. All right, Travis Kelce goes, I was mentally preparing to take Travis Kelce at 43, but we're not going to do that here. Feel like he would have paired well with the vibes of taking Mike Evans, but sadly not the case. Slightly elderly vibes of both men. Higgins goes 41. Higgins, maybe renewed guy. Really would like to take him as a discount, but not getting him today. Pacheco here. Correlates for week 16 with Houston, but we are on 0 RB Friday. Christian Kirk. I'm getting a lot of Christian Kirk. Really did not think I was going to be this much of a Christian Kirk guy, but where he is makes too much sense. ADP-wise would be the RBs. We'll go Christian Kirk. It's 0 RB Friday. It's 0. That's the way I defend it. I'd like to get more Pacheco. I don't really want to get more ATN. But we can't take an RB in round 4. The video says 0 RB. That's like signing a contract. It's like signing a contract in blood, where I got one of those things where I have to poke my finger in and write it. That's how I view YouTube titles, at least. I don't know how other people do. Shout out to other Tyler. Ooh, new Tyler coming on strong. Thank you for the super chat, Tyler. I appreciate it. Happy Friday to you too, my friend. Appreciate you being here. Decided Raider is suspect. What are we talking about? Richie was my name at the state prison. Well, because you were constantly reaching for the soap. You're like, there would be no shower involved. And they're like, Tyler's just reaching for soap again. You're walking around, putting that thing out there, waving it in their faces. All right, what are we going to get around the turn? I would like some really sick value to accumulate. Like old Sacrilegious is getting right in my face. Terry McLaurin goes 49. He will not be the value. Bullock saying this Tyler's a better Tyler. Tyler W's have to be other Tyler. I mean, look, as we learned yesterday, this Tyler is famous. So I think that we've learned a lot about the Tyler business. He's moving on up. Oh, I will not be outshined by Bobo. Oh, wow. Okay. The Tyler wars are racking up here. And I'm the beneficiary. Are there any other Tylers that want to bid? Please hop in right now. We get Lamar here, but with no Mark Andrews. I didn't do the old Ricci push Lamar back thing. Doesn't make the most sense. Could do Keenan Allen again. Feel like this build is there. Could get a share Chris Godwin, though. That's a little bit ahead of ADP. This is a pretty big ATN discount. Oh, I don't like him, though. I'm going to go for the Tampa Bay double. Not uncommon or anything, but I don't think Chris Godwin's going to come all the way back to me. So Tampa Bay double, rare share of that for me here. No Dallas stuff yet. We could obviously tack that on later on. You have your late Jalen Tolbert, have Brandon Cooks in the 120s-ish, have Zeke in the same range, Rico Dowdle a little bit later. We're okay. Tyler, I think you missed it at 0 RB Friday, and I signed my YouTube titles in blood. Shout out Robert Griffin III here, beating all the Tylers one by one. The MSRP of Alibaba anal beads. Thank you. Thank you. Good deal. I don't know that I would trust that to put in my rectum personally. I feel like they have a lot of issues with lead items, right? I feel like things coming from overseas. But, you know, sure. Good value. If you can live with that part of it. There could be only one Tyler. It's true. There could be only one Travis Etienne on 55. 0 RB through 4 seems good. Look, I can tell you with the best ball overlay tool, as it keeps rubbing in my face, that these teams are not 0 RB unless you go without an RB to like round 7, if not round 8. I feel like it's a little aggressive how the best ball overlay tool treats 0 RB. But I'll show you guys here. Like, according to the best ball overlay tool, I've only had 9.5% of my teams be 0 RB, which, if you watch the stream, I think feels batshit insane. But that's the case. Our guy Mathology gifting a membership. Mathology also posting some of the horniest photos that just pushed the line of decency on the Splash Play Squirt Squad VIP Discord as well. But shout out to Mathology. I appreciate it here. And I don't know who the new member is because I don't have the video tab open. But oh, Tyler! Wow, how the fuck did that work out? Talk about karma paying itself off. You don't see that in person too often. Common Tyler WW. The push through the line of decency. I don't know. I don't know. Like the one of the Olympic girl, like that was the one where I was like, oh my God. Mathology had posted a photo from Twitter of one of the Olympic, I don't even know what sport it was. Maybe synchronized swimming women, where like she was like upside down and like had like the smallest bikini possible. And there was a remark perhaps about shaving or something. I don't know. But was like, because she was very well manicured. Let's say it gentlemanly like that. And I was like, what the fuck, man? But it wasn't like, it's not safe for work technically, but it was like it literally catches your eye and you're like, what is going on here? So that's what I would say. We got our Tampa Bay going on. Why not add on some Deontay Johnson here and go extreme 0 RB in this one? We could scoop the Joe Mixon dip, but this is in my head and it's going to happen. So we've done what we wanted to hear. When I do 0 RB like this, I do want to try to get a 1 week 17 game stack going. It's an extreme 0 RB team, so now we should be functionally done at wide receiver for a little bit. But I stayed committed to not taking an RB, so we're going to dig out of this one at the other positions. We have Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson. I like Joe Mixon. I thought there was a faint chance Joe Mixon could keep falling a little bit further. Not going to happen here, though. I'm the best, Tyler, you bums. Well, Tyler, I don't see a thing saying you pay on here, and I didn't see a super chat, so I think in my personal rankings at the very least. But I'm sure you're a lovely Tyler. All the Tylers are lovely. My college freshman year roommate was Tyler as well. From Louisiana via San Diego. Good guy. Once made out with the girl immediately after she vomited in the bushes because he had a crush on her back in high school, and then she was coming to visit, and the girl threw up, and he made out with her. I might have told the story on stream before. It's one of the most disgusting things I've seen in my life. But he was also a Tyler. Ride or die. All right, we got Alvin Kamara going 75. I'm passing up my deep discounts and getting nothing back. Joe Burrow at 76. Woof, don't do that. He's going in the 90s. He's going in the 90s. That story may do, boy. Well, if you have a specific fetish, which people do. So I've learned from the internet. People do. All right, picks coming up here. We are, I would say, tapped at wide receiver for now, but it doesn't mean that we have to take an RB yet. We can take Evan Ingram here and increase our Jacksonville bet, and we're gonna gosh darn do it. So extreme 0 RB team here: Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, and Evan Ingram on the way back. So we got a Jacksonville double, Tampa Bay double with the bring back on Carolina. Nothing to complain about, I think. A Tyler Menage a Trois. Ooh, erotic. Tyler's are going to Tyler. That's true. They all the Tylers in the room, I imagine, are just looking for somebody to throw up so they can make out with. Maybe they can do it together. They all throw up and then they all make out at the same time. 3-way Tyler kiss. Reminds you of a buddy from college. Well, there you go. I'm sure everybody's got one. Sure, it's got one. It definitely was one of those things too, where like she was the girl that he was like in love with in like high school or whatever. So her coming out, seeing him be cool at USC, like at a time where the OC was just coming out. Like there's a lot of things that vibe there, I think. But yeah. And then that was also a weekend too, where that girl brought one of her friends. And what was the nick? Oh, okay. So this is exactly the story. So again, my friend from Louisiana, these girls from Louisiana, the girl he's in love with, her friend, a bigger girl. We went to frat parties. Tyler and the other girl got throw up drunk. The big girl, not that drunk. And then I was like, is she going to be all right? Like, she drank the most out of all of them. And Tyler's like, oh, don't worry about her. She's a hoss. And I was like, oh my God. to call this refrigerator-like gal a hoss was a tough scene. But I'll tell you what, he was right. She drank her alcohol. She ended up being house mom. So there you go. College now, fucking a long time away ago for me. Probably can't call a girl a hoss now in college, if I had to guess. Big girls got big gas tanks. Yeah, they do. We lost a few viewers of that one, but I bet the viewers we kept appreciate stories like that very much. And you're probably not going to hear them on some streams. Maybe Davis Maddock when he's talking about being Eskimo Bros with Cordero Patterson. But please subscribe down below. Hit the like button. Your engagements go a long way here. I try to make for a newsy, entertaining, data-filled, game theory-filled show. And I think I do it gosh darn well. So please subscribe down below. Puke in my mouth and kiss me. Go to Underdog. Use promo code SPLASH, etc. And the Best Ball Assistant Pound is here too. Best Ball Overlay tool. Promo code SPLASH on bestballoverlay.com. Show the Pound some love. Maybe he's the one. Maybe he wasn't the friend. Maybe this is a story that's a lot more similar to his life. He might need the money to just erase those memories that I brought out. They were repressed. So I started talking about it. All right, so probably time to grab an RB. You got to think. QB, though, still an option. We got other ways to handle it. DeAndre Swift goes. Feels this is a little early for these guys. Is there a value coming back? Oh, okay. So the Jonathan Brooks thing perfectly aligned, as I think D. Owen said earlier. So we'll get a share of Jonathan Brooks. And the 0 RB run with a perfect correlation. Duncan Holmes from Carolina, Tampa Bay. We got optionality now. We could do the Baker side. We could do the Bryce Young side. Ooh, this is nice. This is aligning nicely. This is what happens when I don't have evil in the room stalking me. Again, much like Stranger Things. Chat. You guys are going on. I'm on one today. Chat's on one today. There we go. This is the only thing I can fucking post on the screen right now without making it get hornier. Oh, this is a story that Davis Maddock has sold on many pieces of content, but he was Eskimo Bros with Cordero Patterson in college, and he has like an affinity for Cordero Patterson for that reason. I have a better Eskimo Bro. My Eskimo Bro is Rami Malek of Mr. Robot, James Bond villain guy, Freddie Mercury. Easily one of the best Eskimo Bros, and also Dave Portnoy. Rami Malek, Dave Portnoy. Few athletes, I think, but I don't know specifically enough to have confidence on that. I'll take mine. I'll take my Eskimo Bro crew. I'll take my Taco from the league certified EBMDB or EBDB. That's right, EBDB. You can't make an EBDB in 2024. It's as sad as it is to see. So I would be penalized my EBDB because I've not expanded my tree now. And, oh, man, good 5 years. Tough scene. I'm Eskimo Bros, the guy who has herpes. Don't know who is. Well, there's one way to know, I suppose. But, just because, you can have sex with somebody who has herpes and not catch herpes. Fun fact. Here on Science Hour with Dr. Spags. You transmit vomit when you make out with somebody after they throw up. But you're not necessarily going to transmit herpes unless somebody's having an outbreak. Chase Brown goes before for Zach Moss. A little bit of a discount on Zach Moss. Tony Pollard would give us the oppo correlation. We are running out of ways to correlate Tennessee at RB because I don't know if Ty J is going to come back. I'll go Tony Pollard here. I like that we're building a nicely correlated team. In no rush to grab QB. All delightful things that'll allow us to load up on talent here in this extreme 0 RB build. We have Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard as the RBs right now. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, and Deontay Johnson as our wide receivers. And we are functionally done a receiver, at least until like the 17th, 18th round. Evan Ingram at tight end. So we've made it up at some positions. Still need to get the QB, though obviously no QB candidates we need to get right now. And we'll keep pushing things around. Keep on trucking. That's what we're going to do. Eskimo Bros Lance Armstrong. Wow. That's a fun one. I don't know. That's better than Rami Malek, but I think that's fun. I do think the Rami Malek, Dave Portnoy twosome though is like pretty potent. I think that's like a strong duo of like modern social media relevance with, an actor who's won an Oscar. Like, I don't think a lot of you guys have Oscar winners in the bag. While we're just telling stories, the girl, The girl was a stylist who worked with Hollywood people. She worked for an agency that did. No, she was brand side. She was with one of the fashion brands, and then she'd previously worked in an agency, and she had done styling for Rami Malek, and then very unprofessionally had sex with him, which is like rule number one of being a stylist. I think is to not hook up with your client. But there we go. Draft number 2, hour number 2 talk here on Splash Plays. It's what you get. That's why I'm not doing a marathon this year, because by hour 8, it would just be like me revealing traumatic childhood memories. I'm glad Bullock is back, because it fucked up for me to say odds are someone here is Eskimo friends with Epstein. That's a dark one. Guess it depends what age your partner is. It's certainly possible. It's true. Don't fuck the talent, I guess, unless you're a woman, then fucking go nuts. We got a pick coming up in a few here. Or there'd be one thing I just did last draft that I'd be happy to do if it fell back to me. You might be able to guess what that is. And Sacrilegious' team, I feel like getting not quite as neat and clean as I thought in the beginning. He did not go with the 5 receivers in your first 100 picks rule. Sacrilegious. This your card profiles going nuts over here. I'm just going to pull it up on screen, and then we're going to move on from the topic entirely. But that's a good question by Benny. One that raises even more questions. This is a better chat. Get those likes up, chat. Yes, please do hit the like button. Goes a long way here. Streets are saying Sack fell off. Maybe he's like working with Fantasy Flock now on a draft. He's like, I got to get a bunch of RBs in. I'm going nuts here. Knowing him, it's probably like, oh, well, wide receiver draft capitals come up so much. The game theory would push you towards crafting more RBs early on, really loading your RB room while making it up with volume at wide receiver. I feel like I imagine Sacrilegious and most legendary upside guys, like they're the equivalent of like the guys in like a tower back in like the Enlightenment days where they're just like thinking about like life, just like up there, like, oh, like what would it be if I were to draft 4 running backs in the first 10 rounds of a draft? I'd eschew the market data. No, while wearing powdered wigs. That's sometimes how the vibes go off. And I'm not saying that disparagingly. The Enlightenment produced a lot of great thinkers, but some of us are down here in the coal mines, building teams with our bare hands. Fucking, he takes Trevor Lawrence at 114, getting sniped. What the fuck? Tell me he's got something. You got Brian Thomas. It had to stack up Trevor Lawrence with fucking Brian Thomas. Oh, motherfucker. We can still do the Levis side of the equation. Another fucking Javonte share. When I make up on guys, I make up on guys pretty aggressively. I need to go into the ivory tower and put on my powdered wig to start thinking about football more. Fucking shit. All right, the team so far, it's a 0-3-6-1. Trevor Lawrence have been very logical with my double stack of Jacksonville, but no. We have Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, and Deontay Johnson and Evan Ingram. So again, when you get that double stack in an extreme ZRB build, you really want to get the QB with it because you've made a concentrated bet here on these guys as pass catchers, but we don't get it here. We don't get Trevor Lawrence at his normal ADP. Actually, ahead of his normal ADP. We can't get him. Man, oh man. Lisa Ann does host the Fantasy Football Show, and I think she follows me still, as far as I know. She's followed me from the old Barstool days. Which doesn't mean a lot to me. I'm not the biggest Lisa Ann guy. But still, cool. Not Eskimo Bros with Lisa Ann, as far as I know. Will Levis is a Squirt Squad pick. Will Levis is also one of my highest exposed QBs on the year, and I will reveal all my exposures for the week at the end of the video. But we are heavy in Will Levis country, and we're probably in Will Levis town once again here today. I don't think she does it sexily, to be clear, telling you who to draft. I think she gives like real advice, and I think really wants to be taken seriously at it. So I'm reluctant to make too many jokes about it. But she's doing her work. No worse than anybody else doing fantasy football analysis on like SiriusXM and stuff. Not as a slight to anybody, but they've put a lot of different people on the air. People don't understand that QB isn't as important as position players. Every draft, someone takes unstacked QBs. Yeah, I mean, this guy had the single stack, but it's just like a single stack of Trevor Lawrence. Like, the bet you're going to make on Trevor Lawrence is that he's propping up this team, having a great year. He makes the leap. He's a guy who's maybe even MVP contention. Like, that's the bet you make. Him just stack up with Brian Thomas as your QB2 is just like a median projection play that doesn't do a lot for you, especially when you have Jalen Hurts. Like, you have Jalen Hurts. Like, that's the bet. The bet is on Jalen Hurts going nuts and paying off that high ADP. And that's the thing that people don't get in drafts. And you get it. You get it when you've maxed it out, when you've done a bunch of drafts for multiple years and you listen to enough stuff, you'll start to get there. We are, not everyone is there. So it is what it is. Yeah, he has discount ATN. That's fine. It's still not, I don't know. It's not really the correlation, but it is what it is. You can tout for him if you want. It's still a reach for Trevor Lawrence, a guy who falls in rooms when you have Jalen Hurts. It's not good usage of draft capital. Might feel cozy to you. It's not good usage of draft capital. If you wanted to take him at 127, if he came all the way back, then fine. But you're not taking him at a discount. You're upsetting your team to reach for a guy. And upsetting your draft capital buckets to reach for a guy that's not perfectly correlated. We got Gus Edwards here, Austin Eckler. ADP-wise, these would be the picks. Do you like Jerome Ford? No issue with Gus, as you can see by my 15% exposure. Surprised I'm this low on Eckler, but I've not been getting him a lot lately. Yeah, they would just go Gus here. Just keep building out RB. We made our early big draft capital bet on receiver and an added tight end on top. So we got to make up volume and volume at reasonable ADPs at RB if you are going to build this kind of team. So it's a 0-4-6-1 build right now. We got Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards are the RBs. Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, and Deontay Johnson are the wide receivers. And tight end is Evan Ingram. There you go. Anyway, I can definitely see how people would think the Trevor Lawrence thing is a good bet. It's to sum up that point. But it's just like, it's just one I don't think you reach for, especially when you have Jalen Hurts, especially when you're a red badge. But he can do whatever he wants. Gus, great for also offsetting the Brooks/Williams risk. Yeah, I mean, if there's Williams risk at this point, I feel like Williams to me is now walked into a role to at least start the year. And he probably keeps some amount of a role the entire year. Like maybe Estime just ends up getting 40% of that backfield and Williams keeps 60% if he's good with it. I think it's in the range of outcomes. Obviously, that's a little bit rounding up on both sides of the equation because you're still going to have your Jaleel McLaughlin, maybe your P. Ryan in there taking some percentage away. But I think it's possible for Javonte to hit, but still have Estime do something. But in an individual draft, if I'm taking Javonte, like to me in that draft, the Estime bet like doesn't exist. It's just all about Javonte. I think we're okay. I honestly like every time like I think about booking guests and I'm like, and then somebody like I DM with one person about it and I'm like, and I mentioned to somebody else and they're like, yeah, I would love to do it, but like it's gotta be this time frame. And I'm like, oh, I just don't want to do anymore. I just don't want to take it further than that part of it. When it comes to like figuring out people's schedules and stuff for like, a business meeting, I can do that. For drafting, it's like it's 11 a.m. It's kind of a weird time. So I'm like, I'm out of the guest game for now. I might rechange times again next year, I think. And that would theoretically open me up to guest booking more. Probably still not Lisa Ann, though, to be quite frank. I feel like that would be one where like I couldn't make any of the jokes I want to make or else it would be rude. It wouldn't be great draft content, I don't think. Maybe it is. I haven't followed her fantasy work closely. But I understand the sentiment. The guest booking is not my forte. I'm an only child. I just like to come on stream and play with my toys. And finger them. Like so. We'll see what we get on the way back. Sacrilegious still team Rico Dowdle here. In fact, it looks like took him over Zeke. Oh, no, Zeke went 116. Okay. Anthony Bourdain scooped up Zeke. Thank God. Two dead guys. Zeke and Anthony Bourdain. Zeke is currently weekend and birding his way into a job. All right. Well, this pocket is an okay one for me. Jerome Ford, one of my heaviest bets. He has fallen 11 spots in this room. Why? Why is Jerome Ford down 11 spots here for no reason? Going to take Jerome Ford. Very strange draft room. The Jerome Ford is more of a market thing, though. Like, I don't get why that would ever be the case. We got Gus as 7-pick discount. Javonte's a 3-pick. Pollard is a 2-pick. Ford is a 12-pick. But people are still taking RBs, so it's not like the room is dead. Chubb benched the Cybertruck. He's also on the pup list, and he's not doing anything on the field. He's not in with anybody. Pierre Strong is out there doing stuff because Chubb's, I mean, he would be out there anyway. But Chubb's not doing anything. He's got to be playing football, not lifting weights, even jumping and cutting while not being a part of 11 on 11s or 7 on 7s is still not moving the right direction yet. Oh boy. That's I mean, Anthony Bourdain set him up. Gave Zeke all the best in Thailand today. Anyway, we'll see what we get on the way back here. Still got to get QBs, but our QBs are not really anywhere nearby yet. So we're going to keep doing it. The joke is to do the most clean and pure draft content with Lisa Ann Great Bit, but she's been doing that for years. And I don't think it's led to tremendous success of people enjoying the ironic bit. But I understand the appeal. I understand the concept and the appeal. Dalton Schultz falling again in this room. Were people won over by Cade Stover in that game yesterday? Are they afraid of Quentin Tutoriano or whatever? Why is Dalton Schultz falling? I'm losing CLV on guys that it makes no sense to lose CLV on. Jerome Ford and Dalton Schultz are objectively two good bets, especially with how we saw tight end get used yesterday. That's Dalton Schultz in games. Except in games, there's going to be Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell running routes. The tight end's going to be very open in a lot of situations. But Schultz goes at 146. Sure. Little QB panic around the turn here. We don't panic at QB. Jalen Wright. Oppo correlation for Jerome Ford potentially in week 17. Miami OC was very vague talking about the depth chart for the RBs for some reason, which is neither here nor there, but I'll take Jalen Wright here. But it was odd. It was one of those things where it's like, I can't tell if he's not going to use Jalen Wright at all or if he's being cagey because he wants to use Jalen Wright a lot. So that was my thought process for selecting Jalen Wright. But anyway, we're done at RB now. A 0-6-6-1, so we have to get our QBs later on, obviously. We got Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford, Jalen Wright. Wide receiver, we have Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, and Deontay Johnson. The tight end, we have Evan Ingram. So live for a bunch of late QBs here, which is generally how I would like to be when I get sniped on guys like Trevor Lawrence going at 114. And we'll do the best we can to stick the landing here. It feels okay. And we'll see what Sacrilegious does around the bend. He's got AR unstacked, it looks like. Okay. Maybe late Alec Pierce coming for Sacrilegious later on. Who knows? Marshawn Lloyd got some great coach speak today. What did they say? I have not seen anything on that yet. I will look it up on Twitter, but if you want to drop me a little linky-do, I don't know why I called it that. Marshawn Lloyd. Seeing the coach speaking next talking about it. Oh, here's Marshawn Lloyd's 50-yard run. I'm watching this stuff without you guys on a different window. God, Marshawn Lloyd is so exciting. I just can't wait to see him play. He's one of those guys that might go nuts in the preseason. He might have a Cam Akers-like day in the preseason and just go off. If he's even playing. Spags, if you can see one future statistical outcome, who and which one, who's going to score the most points in week 17, I guess would probably be it. If we're trying to get more creative than that, overall total yardage for the Commanders would probably be it for me. Just to know if I'm right on the bet and I should keep driving it home, or if it's the time for me to dial it back because they had like a middle of the road outcome that probably has some spike weeks. Or, a bad outcome, like maybe Jaden Daniels got hurt, maybe sucks. I don't think that's likely with what everything I believe and what we've seen in practice. But I think that would probably be it. It would be like total yards for the Commanders, or just who scores the most points in week 17. And then you would take that guy 101 to tie into the other debate. I think that Davis Maddock and some other people had going on social media. Too soon for a Chase Brown Hero RB build. That wouldn't be Hero RB. Chase Brown is in the 0 RB zone. Hero RB would be somebody you're taking within the first 6 rounds, I guess. Technically more so like after round 1. But yeah, that would just be an RB early. Chase Brown, you shouldn't take Chase Brown and go away from the position and take more receivers. No. But he's a fine part as the early part of a 0 RB build. Asked if Marshawn Lloyd is going to have a redshirt season, and coach said he brings a different skill set than Jacobs does. They said, I think that was an old quote. That was one that he had said before. But yes, he does, and it's not going to be a redshirt season. I think that's been, anybody asking that, it's like a bad take because of the fact that like he's already been filling in when Jacobs has been out of practice with the first team. He's already been being used on pass downs. But I'm sure they had a logical reason to ask it, but I don't think that's actually a good question to ask given what we've seen and what we know so far. If you're paying attention, Marshawn Lloyd's pretty much locked into a role, I would say. Yeah, that quote was from May, yeah. I saw Coach Weekend next popping him back up when I just searched Twitter. I don't know who's saying that Marshawn Lloyd would have a redshirt season, but it's like impossible, implausible at the very least. All right, we got picks coming up here. Could be time to go reach for some QBs just to make sure that we get them and are done. Okay, I was ready to make the pick. Really would have liked this guy to finish his pick so I could just make mine and move on. But no, he's going to take the whole clock. He's going to do the whole thing. Take the whole clock, take Tyler Conklin. Love that. All right, let's go Baker here. One of the QBs out of the way. Fairly obvious selection at this point. We have the Tampa Bay double. Because we have the Tampa Bay double, I could have pushed it around a little bit more, but at this point, I just want to be somewhat safe at QB, getting one in the door. So Baker Mayfield will be the pick. I've not taken a lot of Baker this year because I'm not taking a lot of Bucks overall. Just think there's some regression coming a little bit with Dave Canales being gone. But we'll see, honestly. Liam Cohen, I think, has quietly coached a nice offensive camp so far from what I've seen. I think I've enjoyed the stuff I've heard from him. What I've seen in practice looks okay. What I've read about the practices look okay. So I might need to adjust my Tampa Bay priors more. It seems like Liam Cohen is leaning more on the Rams stuff than he did as OC in Kentucky last year, where it was kind of a dog shit offense. Who knows? Maybe he wanted to do Rams stuff there and it sucked. And maybe he wants to do Rams stuff again here and it'll suck. Who knows? Kyron scored the most points week 17 versus Arizona. Okay. And we're talking about this year, but but yes, I suppose if you're telling me the future, it's possible. I would be bummed if that were the case because my exposure for Kyron is certainly not supporting that. But if you had Kyron scoring the most points in week 17, he would be an easy 101. The guy that would be a tough one would be like, I don't know, like someone who's going to suck and maybe, I think the question is like going to be zeros the rest of the year. And it would be like, that's Jermaine Burton type. Like maybe Jermaine Burton puts up 40 in week 17 and has zeros every other week. Like that's the kind of guy I think you have to ask the question about more. And that guy'd still probably be the 101 and you just plan around it and you lose that first round pick and hope you can make it up with volume and quality players everywhere else. If we're doing the, what is the theoretical highest scorer thing? Thought starter. Toy game, as some might call it. Matthew saying hit that like button. I agree with Matthew. Please do here. Down the home stretch, especially long draft here. Second draft, it's like they fucking soak up the clock. I feel like so much more in the second draft. But of course, new drafts here every Monday to Saturday at 11 a.m. And this week should be actually Monday to Sunday. So it might be 7 days a week of drafts this week because I'm going to start doing my drafters doubleheaders potentially. So stay tuned here. Hit the like button, subscribe as well, and hit the notification bell when I go live because I say 11 o'clock, but obviously sometimes a little bit after 11, sometimes a little bit earlier. Cade Otton goes unstacked. I would have been happy to have him as my second tight end, but this guy needed him unstacked as his third tight end. You can tell, you can probably guess how that makes me feel. Delighted. That's how it makes me feel. Tomfoolery. McMillan goes to, they don't want me to get more Tampa Bay stuff, even though I was not thinking about going McMillan here. Will Levis, we need a bet here. We have the correlation with Tony Pollard and the 2 Jacksonville bringbacks. So a second game stack here. Tampa Bay, Tennessee, full bailout mode, even though Baker, the star has been aligned for me taking Baker since the beginning. Because I did take Mike Evans to take Chris Godwin. We have a 2-6-6-1 team here. We got Baker Mayfield and Will Levis. We have Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford, and Jalen Wright here. So some mini week 17 correlation going on, at least on that side of things, and some more correlation up top. We have Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, our wide receiver room. At tight end, Devin Ingram. I think the team works, and now we could think about if there's a third QB to put on top and maybe get one more game stack in. That's the only thing left to do, potentially. And, of course, need to get a second tight end. Maybe a third. Who knows? Time for Levis, you knew. Guys, I'd rather talk about hypothetical week 17 than go to therapy. Imagining week 17 is sometimes all you have in life. The most important thing in life is to have goals and dreams. And my goals and dreams are to have a series of random events come together in a way that make me money in the second to last week of the NFL regular season. That's the hope. Let's see. Oh, the guy who I talked about earlier who wanted me to explain taking receivers to him earlier. Anyway, all right, there we go. Hope he's having a lovely day. Going to therapy for fantasy football. Maybe we need to go to game coaches. There's people that do coach poker pretty aggressively. I mentioned reading that A Game poker book a while back. That guy does professional coaching for top poker players. And as far as I know, I've never heard of a DFS or best ball person getting professional coaching. But with how much money people spend on it, it wouldn't be insane to do that if you really wanted to. I don't know that I want to be people's coach. I don't know that I want to coach either, but it would make sense if you were really doing it at a high level, especially if you're stressed about it, struggling with the mental aspects of it, that kind of thing. Sacrilegious does the Derek Carr bailout late. And he doesn't have Olave or anything. Is Sacrilegious just building uncorrelated teams? Has he been pulling the wool over our eyes for a while now? He's done oppo correlation with Indianapolis. I know he's got Rashid Shaheed. Okay. All right. I'm just going to see Sacrilegious draft live. Sure, there's some 40 stuff he's got going. Yeah, he's got Shaheed. I caught it. Oh, Chunk's breakfast tacos are slapping. If anybody needed an update, good to know. I'm always glad to hear Chunk's breakfast taco updates. I'm jealous of somebody that doesn't eat breakfast or tacos that often these days. Indian buffet. That sounds like a toilet visit waiting to happen. Kudos to you. I've never been to an Indian buffet. Chinese buffet, sure. All right, what are we going to do here? E. White. It's probably going to take a very long time to make a pick that I'm not impressed by. Barely think about it. There, all right, there we go. Only 15 seconds. Nice. All right, we got 2-6-6-1 here. Second tight end makes sense. Got a little bet on Cleveland, Miami. I feel okay with Jonnu Smith as tight end too. We can live with that. Jonnu Smith, come on down. Oh, I hate this. I hate Troy Franklin falling right in my face. What do we do? Trying to think if it's worth. Is there a third QB I could tack on that I want to tack on? Potentially. It's okay, so the options right now, I should talk about it, even though I hate giving away the full thing I'm trying to game out in my head in a room where people might watch, because people sometimes tune in, even if they're not regulars, to know what I'm doing, give themselves a theoretical micro edge. The options would be to go heavier on Tennessee, grab more Will Levis pieces, like a Chig, like a Tyler Boyd, like a Treylon Burks right now who's filling in with Hopkins on the sidelines. To take that, or to go a different way, I'm thinking a Minnesota stack here, where I could go Minnesota, maybe add a Green Bay guy on top to give myself a Week 17 game stack of Minnesota Green Bay. So those are two things I'm thinking about right now. I think I'm just going to let it determine what comes back to me, be the course of action here. Sacrilegious basically takes Drake May in every draft I see him in. He might be setting that up with the card pick to give, interesting, give extra coverage early on. Those guys really do love Drake May over there. The legendary upside guys love Drake May in a way that if I'm right about Drake May, there's going to be a lot of zeros for them early on. But I guess if you're building in the early coverage, then more power to him. Oh, we got differing opinions on which Tennessee receiver to take. Burks is looking okay so far, so the Boyd option is gone no matter what. All right, 1492 for this guy. Anthony Bourdain has a 1492. He is drafting like a corpse is drafting the scene right now. You don't need to keep getting receivers. You don't need to go 9. You took so many early on. You don't need to go 9 when you took 5 in the first 6 rounds. Boy, oh boy. Silliness around. And I think McCarthy is how I'm leaning right now. Then getting McCarthy, maybe it's tight end 3 here to get that third game sack. The point of getting 3 QBs is not just to correlate 3 QBs, even though that's fine. The point is to give yourself a third game environment that comes together and theoretically could be scoring 50, 60, as some games have 70 points in the past. That's what we're trying to capture here. So 3-6-6-2 here. We have Baker, Will Levis, JJ McCarthy. I am growing more confident in JJ McCarthy as camp goes on. Still think there's a pretty good shot Darnold starts, but McCarthy is looking like throwing lasers in camp, looking accurate. He's doing what I've thought he could do, but he just wasn't there yet in minicamp. So I think he's surging in a way where even if he doesn't get week 1, we're covered there anyway. At RB, we have Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford, and Jalen Wright. Coincidentally, this would be one team that really could use Marshawn Lloyd as a Green Bay bring back for the Minnesota stuff. But Minnesota stuff includes Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson here. So Carolina, Tampa Bay stacked up here. Tennessee, Jacksonville stacked up. We have Evan Ingram and Jonnu Smith here. Jonnu does correlate with some of our RB stuff going on with Ford and Wright. Here we go. Dylan clearly left the stream and came back. No. Again, who said that? Who said the report? Because whoever this person is a fucking idiot is what I'll say. I don't care if it's somebody that I know who's respected. I'm still going to say a fucking idiot take. There's been so much coach speak for the opposite. So whatever. But tell me what the article is. I've gone over it, but it's incorrect. You don't break fucking 50-yard runs in practice and padded practice and get a redshirt year. That's fucking batshit insane. Any concern about Smith/Smythe splitting time? No, because Smythe is just nothing. I mean, like, Jonnu can have less routes and he could still have great days. He had for Atlanta last year. Like, he wasn't getting a full-time route share there and was fine. So we saw last year in an offense that was willful about feeding him. He did well. Miami, maybe not going to be willful about feeding him, but he's going to be out there running routes with guys that get incredibly open. So, he'll be fine, I think. Indian buffet time for Tyler. See Tyler later. Appreciate him being here. Of course, we'll be wrapping up this one, looking at exposures coming up in a minute. And that's going to be the end of the video. We are in our end game right now. And then as our guy pointed out earlier, Drake May here goes to Sacrilegious. The Leap's Jason Hirschhorn. I've never heard that name in my life. Leap Jason Hirschhorn. Co-founder of The Leap. So he's like a Substack guy. Yeah, I'm going to ignore the Substack guy, even though he's written at such lovely places, such content farms as SB Nation and Sports Illustrated. Again, Sports Illustrated used to mean something. It doesn't now. So no, sorry, Jason Hirschhorn. No, thank you. And Bullock, hoping Tyler enjoys his food. I think he will when it's coming out. I think that's when he's going to be thinking of you the most. Theo Johnson, go to Sacrilegious. I think that's a good pick. Like that one more than the Drake May one, to be honest. Theo, of course, big RAS guy, tremendous athlete, seemingly ahead of Daniel Bellinger already. If you can live with the Giants bet late, Theo Johnson is one of the good ones to make. Dawson Knox goes. Theo can honestly come up. Probably shouldn't pass Juwan. It's insane Juwan Johnson hasn't moved up at all yet, by the way, when he's already working back at practice, as they've said multiple times, on the pathway to being back week 1. And yet, Justin Herbert not really paying an ADP discount. DeAndre Hopkins did pay an ADP discount, but other injuries for some reason, people really have weird biases, I would say. The Herbert one should be a discount, and it wasn't in the last two rooms that I was in. 3662 here. We got McCarthy. We can do a Green Bay bring back, which is what I was thinking. I don't think Troy Franklin should go undrafted, though, which is the tough part. Troy Franklin should not go undrafted. I will die on this hill. I don't care. We're going to cost $1 Troy Franklin down. If he's going to be available in round 18, I still don't believe in that one. Bo Melton, I was thinking about. Tucker Kraft was my other option, I think, to make it a 3 tight end build. But we're going Troy Franklin because he shouldn't be free. And also Bryce Young, whatever. Baker Mayfield, Will Levis, J.J. McCarthy is the QB room. Jonathan Brooks, Tony Pollard, Javonte Williams, Gus Edwards, Jerome Ford, Jalen Wright, RB room. Wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Christian Kirk, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, and Troy Franklin for free late. So tough for my exposure, but I just think Ben Albright is fucking killing my value. And Evan Ingram and Jonnu Smith, 2 tight end room. You might be more comfortable taking a 3rd. I'm okay with those 2. All right, exposures. Let's see what we get here. This room is still wrapping up, so we're not going to have this draft in, but I will see if I can get my other ones in here. Why am I? Some of my big board exposures. We don't want that. All right, here we go. So 87 BBM drafts completed, not including this past one, which is number 88 for me. And I have to deposit on Underdog next week, which makes me sad as well. To be able to try to hit the finish line here on stream. But team's not done. All right, so we're just going to look at exposures here. All right, so top exposed right now, Justin BBM. Marshawn Lloyd for me at 38%. So no, I am not going to be somebody that worries about Marshawn Lloyd and these weird reports from guys that we don't know. 38% here. Oh my God. Well, I hate these questions, Tom. Tom, here, look, let me pull up the Chiron. 4-time finalist. I'll pull it on your chat so you can see the Chiron. There we go. No, I have not won a best ball tournament. I've made 4 finals. It's a lot of finals. There we go. Hate when people make me do this. I hate that question more than anything. You know, people have fucking won best ball tournaments that matter. Not a lot. Leave me alone. Doing exposures. Marshawn Lloyd, and it's also like one of those things where people ask that as a leading question to try to dunk on you. I fucking hate that question. Marshawn Lloyd, Jaden Daniels, number 2 at 36%. Terry McLaurin, number 3 at 31%. McLaurin catching bombs from Jaden Daniels. Ben Sinnott going the wrong way. Still, I will keep my exposure to him. Probably more strategic about taking him down the home stretch. I think he would feel better to me. 25%. 16 to 25 ideally, but probably 25 is where we're going to end up. And Brian Robinson, it's all Washington bet for me in the top 5. That's basically what it is. QB here. We got Jaden Daniels. Week 17 losses do hit differently. That is true. Jaden Daniels, Will Levis, Derek Carr here. So Will Levis and Derek Carr tied. Of course, the late bailout strategy QB thing is something I believe in. That's what we do here, / just taking them as QB2. Bo Nix is my number 4. I still think he'll be the starter at some point. Still think he'll most likely to be week 1. But at some point, he'll be there. And Kyler Murray, AR, tied for number 5. Would like to get AR up more. Would be also happy to get Kyler up more, but I am ADP sensitive on the stuff. You try to take guys at advantageous positions, and lately these guys have not been at advantageous positions. At RB, Marshawn Lloyd you saw before, Brian Robinson you saw before, David Montgomery at 26%. He's the perfect part of a 0 RB build or a hero RB build. I will die on that hill this year. Chase Brown and Jerome Ford, 2 guys we talked about earlier that people are very happy I'm getting exposure to based on recent news. Ford is fucking still down in room, so I'll keep taking him. These guys could be my 2 highest exposed at RB, and I wouldn't be mad at it, though. They're unlikely to pass Marshawn Lloyd. And Bucky Irving here, rounding it out. Estime, these are the bets I've had all along. Estime one looking better. Bucky one holding steady, even though I think the camp signal does seem a little bit better. Wide receiver, we have Terry McLaurin, number 1. Luke McCaffrey, number 2. Luke McCaffrey, not enough signal. Would like to get him flatter with Jahan Dotson, but I'm just not able to do that because he's so cheap. Troy Franklin, again, I'm not backing off here. Keenan Allen, Jahan Dotson tied for 4, and Malik Neighbors, Christian Kirk, Marvin Harrison Jr. tied for 5. All these guys 2x the field for me. Both, really all of them at great ADPs, or I think they have wouldn't say an easy shot at paying off, but a very good shot at paying off. Tight end, Ben Sinnott, we saw him. Dalton Schultz, if he's going to go in the 140s, 150s, I will be scooping that as well. Right now, he's at 20% for me. Trey McBride, more than 2x the field there. I think he's the best tight end at cost right now in the first round. Juwan Johnson, or the first round, the first round of elite tight ends. That was absolutely the fucking wrong way to say that. Juwan Johnson, too cheap in the 18th round, 15% here. And Brock Bowers, 14%, rounding out the tight end room. Late tight end, elite tight end, mid tight end. It's all coming together here in my exposure. Real fast look at the best ball overlay tool as well. See if there's anything interesting in this one. Here you can see my exposures, and you can now see the closing line value you have in the last 7 days. So a big closing line value for Chase Brown right now on the best ball overlay tool. David Montgomery, a little bit of closing line value. Bucky a little bit. Jerome Ford a little bit, even though he fell like crazy in the rooms I was in today. Brian Robinson coming up. Meanwhile, Marshawn Lloyd going down a little bit. McLaurin going down a little bit. Sinnott going down a good amount. Nothing too surprising here. Bullock, enjoyed being back. I'll be here more and more. Well, all right. Love to hear that, Bullock. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate your support as well, my friend. And congrats on your engagement. Always glad to hear that stuff. Anyway, some other stuff on the tool that's new besides the last 7 days stuff. So zero RB. You can now see your lineups here that are zero RB according to what they define it as, which I believe is no RBs until round 8, if I had to guess, is what this looks like. So got zero RB 9.5% of the time for me. Hero RB allegedly 20% of the time, including some nice CLV teams like this one with Jaden, where still good CLV, even though I have Ben Sinnott falling, Marshawn Lloyd falling a little bit. Pretty good CLV, I guess, overall. This must have been a discounted Kyron Williams, I would guess, as well. But you can see all your teams here that fit the criteria. You can also see stuff like modified Hero RB, which, to be honest, I don't really know what that would be qualified as. Some bad CLV ones like this one. Jatavian, probably part of that. Addison, definitely part of that. Still not bad. Not all your negative CLV teams are bad. It's one thing I would say as well when you look through this tool. And other things I can look at here, my combos real fast. Wait, how do we do? Oh, no, graphs. Sorry. This is where we go here. So the playoff stacking I've been doing the most. Let's see if this has changed since last week. All right. If I'm going to guess, we still have the most Washington, Atlanta. All right, so I have week 17 playoff stacks, Washington, Atlanta, and 27% of my build. So we're coming down a little bit, but it is still there a lot. And these are stacks as well that include the QB, so keep that in mind here. But I have a quarter of my lineups have Washington, Atlanta. 14% of my lineups have Jacksonville, Tennessee, a lot of Will Levis, and a lot of Christian Kirk. We have Baltimore, Houston at 12%, Arizona and the Rams at 12%, going down a little bit. And the games I'm lowest on is still Detroit, San Francisco, KC, Pittsburgh. Teams I don't like that much in this case, and teams that are a little bit expensive, hard to stack together early on, and also stack late. So these are my highest exposed and least exposed guys right now in terms of playoff stacks, and mini playoff stacks just for fun. But a helpful thing to see if you are somebody that is trying to get your exposures fully aligned. So mini stacks, I have a lot more of than, so KC, Pittsburgh still weak for me. Buffalo Jets and 13%. You can see here, though, that I'm getting stacks of everything for the most part. And then, not surprising, Atlanta, Washington, mini playoff stacks, the highest. 63% of my lineups in BB, I guess, would be everything. And just BBM, it'd be a little bit less. 70%. Nope. No, it is not. 70% of my BBM teams have a mini Atlanta, Washington stack. 37% of Baltimore, Houston, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Dallas, Philadelphia, not far behind. That's how I'm building right now. I would still like to get some of these up a little bit more, but I do think these are weighted in a way which aligns with how I view the games, the various teams, and all of that. But I'm stacking, I'm correlating, I'm doing what you got to do, and this is what you got to do, guys. Of course, I'm drafting here every day, Monday to Saturday at 11 a.m., so please hit that like button. Please subscribe down below. Your support goes a long way also. Like all these fine folks on the screen who I'm going to read the names of right now. These people have paid me $4.99 this month to support the show. They got 10 team reviews for it, a VIP Discord, my rankings updated weekly, 275 plus player blurbs on there, and also now my news updates get put in a Google Doc that's pinned in the Discord. So thank you for your support, guys. Please support down below. Robert Griffith III, Historical Anomalies, Matthew Emerson, Tyler, CLN, Mathology, Rupesh, Willis, Ivan Black, Tony Mark, a.k.a. Io, Brandon Wagner, Consigliere, Aaron, Nez, Jake Twitchell, fucking Alpha, Mr. I am the KY, Buffalo War Pigs, Kevin Castro, Lateralis, Lunchable Connoisseur, Short Gamer, Carlos Manzo, Chunk the Deuce, Gabe Davis, Bindles, Thomas Schultz, Laces Out, Jeff F, Craig B, Hoosier Devo, Jason F, Michael Thomas, Wounded Geese, Steel City Blue, Jeff T, W for Omega, C40, Artillery Frost, Benny, D. Owens, Meatwad, Kyle Zoo, Feelin' Moosey, Nick Stevens, Mr. Poopy Butthole, Dylan Holzer, T.U.S., Adam, Dylan Courts, Rough Buff Fire, Joe the Show, Broncos, Best Ball Brian, Bob Hale, M. Ryan Dolan, STL Bree, an Independent Thinker, JPK Tampa, Paul B, Duke Dean, Adam Rockoff, Anthony Revela, Tim Solders, Terrence, Curtis Broom, Chris Pointer, Sladen, Matthew Priest, Dylan Gibson, ATX Bearcat, Dave Gladstone, Diego. You guys have all supported the show this week. A few new members on here as well. I appreciate them too. And hit that join button if you want to support the show. It does go a long way for me here as an independent creator. Drafters will be drafting on tomorrow. Promo code SPLASH on there for a $100 deposit match. I'll be doing a doubleheader tomorrow, probably a doubleheader on Sunday as well. So stay tuned for more coming for drafters here down the home stretch. Stochastic for your DFS tools, promo code SPLASH. Probably promo code SPLASH gets you half off. It's the only discount we have going right now. No more free trials, and probably because the data's been too good and people have been fucking us up the butt with free trials. So go to probably.com, top of market sportsbook data to make better bets, no matter where you are, no matter what sportsbook you're betting on. Check it out, probably.com. That's Ball Overlay, promo code SPLASH. Underdog, promo code SPLASH. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow the show at Splash Play Pod. It's been a long week, guys, but we got a lot more coming. I will see you guys tomorrow on Drafters. So, hey, enjoy your weeks. And, of course, good luck. Bye-bye.